Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. Well, Merry Christmas everyone. It's that time of year again. It's mid-December and we're on our last little stretch to get the last second stuff done, get all the shopping finished and everything. I'm done mine, I can't believe it, but I'm done already. And as you can see, there is a ton of stuff on my table here. I wonder what that's all about. Maybe General Hand Grenade is feeling in the Christmas spirit. And yes, he is. This is going to be a mega giveaway. Biggest giveaway I've had because there's going to be 3 different prizes. Now, the first prize is this one that you see here. And if you watched, I don't know if it was my last video or the one before. I think it was the one before. It was Games Galore from the pillbox on top of the hill. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below the video so that you can link to that video. Like, just click on that link down there and watch that video if you want to enter to win this prize. This prize is being given away. All three of these prizes I'm giving away are going to be given away Sunday. So let's just review what this one is. This one is a set of commanders that are hand painted by me, and believe me, that's a good thing, because you see they got their hands behind them there, right? Well, that's hard to, they kind of blend in, and you don't want your commanders blending in because well, actually you don't want the other guy's commanders blending in. You want to know where they are on the board because they make your armies more powerful, right? Where they are, because they give everybody a +1, right? And planes and, like everything, right? The only thing it doesn't give a +1 to is bombardment. So you need to know where those are, and having them painted, I got gold helmets on them and gold bases. So that's one part of the prize. The next part of the prize is the weather marker. So you can put weather into your game, and it doesn't matter what game it is. Like, you could put it into any global war game, or you could put it into any Axis and Allies game. Just make up your own rules and, probably roll the dice and say, oh, tornado. I guess your ship's not going anywhere, And then here, this is some units that you're going to need for version 3 of Global War 1936 to 1945. 3D printed pieces, all of them. Before, when I made that last video, these were only the primary coat was put on. So you can see they're almost exactly the same as out-of-box British color. This is 2 Malta carriers that you'll use for your heavy carriers, 2 Vanguard battleships, you'll use those for your heavy battleships. There's 5 attack transports. This is a new unit in the game, and 4 Alaska class battle cruisers here, and all of these are 3D printed, and not the white bumpy plastic kind of 3D printed. These are some really nice. I've never seen any material like that for the 3D printed. It's really hard plastic. So that's the one prize, and I can I'll give you a hint. There's less than a half a dozen entries so far for this one, so you got a really good chance of winning this one, but you've only got less than 2 days left. It's Friday night now. I'm going to do the draw sometime on Sunday. I don't know what time. It'll depend on, how my day is going. It won't be early in the morning or anything, but sometime Sunday afternoon probably, I'm going to draw for the prizes. And so you've got until then. What you need to do is you need to buy a game off of Hilltop Pillbox. He's an upstanding member of our community, making a lot of great videos. And he's got tons of games for sale. He wants to sell them so he can help his son get through university, and so that's a great cause to get in on. So if you buy 1 game off him, then you get one name in the hat. If you buy 2 games off him, then you get your name in the hat twice, three times. It just goes that way, right? So you've got a really good chance of winning that prize if you enter that. Now, as you know, I'm into global war now, almost exclusively. I'll still play Axis and Allies. It's still a great game and everything. I just prefer to play global war. But when I started my channel, I was right into Axis and Allies. I didn't play global war at all, and I love that game, and I still do. So a lot of the content on my channel and a lot of my subscribers are only into Axis and Allies, right? So I'm going to show them some love in this video. I've been holding on to this prize. Doug gave me this one a few months ago, and I've been holding on to it for a special occasion, and that special occasion has arrived. So this is for the Axis and Allies players that are subscribers of mine. You have to be a subscriber of mine to win any of these prizes, okay? So it's this is the marker set. So you get 25 naval base markers, 25 air base markers, 10 convoy markers, 6 kamikaze markers, and 10 damage markers. This is where you put a capital ship on there rather than just tipping them over. You can put a capital ship on there. And then these are the, you've probably seen these everywhere now. These are the fuel gauge markers that Doug and I invented, I don't know, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago now. So you fly your plane like 3 spaces and it's still got 1 to go. So you put your plane on the 1 there. And that just helps you out, boy. It really helps to mark your planes, especially, you know, like Germany's first turn or Japan's first turn. When you've flown that many planes around and you can't remember necessarily where they came from, right? Then marking them off like that is a good reminder of how many spaces you got to go left, right? And so also the convoy markers. If you when you're convoying somebody, you put the marker on there, and then you don't forget, right? Because you see the marker on the board, and it reminds you. And the kamikaze tokens, that's just to replace the cardboard pieces of crap they give you in the Axis and Allies game. So this is the Axis and Allies prize. Now, you can only enter either the Axis and Allies contest or the Global War contest. And this is a prize that's taken me months to put together. This is, let me show you here. I'll just pan around slowly. This is the Russian Army. This is everything that you need, absolutely everything that you need to play Global War 1936 to 1945 version 3, right down to the seaplanes. These are my seaplanes actually. There's no seaplanes available, so I painted these up in that color, and I'm going to give those away, and then I'll get some more off of Doug later, right? But lots of 3D printed units in here. Let's just go over everything that's here. First of all, let me just get rid of this chair here. Got to show you what all is here. So we've got the cavalry. Let's zoom in a bit here. See these pieces here. So we've got the cavalry here. So you don't have to just use a cavalry chip or something to put them under. This is the HBG cavalry. Now, these things here don't have a painted base. I'm going to paint the base on these. This is the airborne infantry. I'm going to paint the base gray. I would have had that done by now, but I had an order out with HBG, and I was wondering what happened to it, because usually it goes, like I've gotten so many packages, and every one of you will know what I'm talking about. When you follow along on the tracker there, you know exactly what route it takes to get to your door, right? Well, it usually goes from Chicago, then it goes to Toronto, right? Well, it left Chicago on the 3rd of December, and then nothing. It didn't say anything until today, finally, it said that it was in Warsaw. Yeah, that's right, the Warsaw that's in Poland. So these are actually mine. I just painted these guys today. I ripped the bases off of them, but I'm going to paint the bases on those gray. Those will be your airborne infantry. These are the Marine infantry. And you can see the bases painted white. That's the same, these are the World War I Russian infantry. I use these in my game for all the Marines on the board too. I use the World War I sculpts. And so rather than, like I had to put this together and be able to afford it, right? So I couldn't afford to buy all the chips and everything. So I just painted them, like the Marine chip is white when you buy them. So I painted those white. And then these guys over here, this is your militia, and there's 20 of these guys. I painted the bases on those yellow because the militia chips are yellow, right? So, and then there's these guys. These guys' chip is brown. This is your mountain infantry. And so I'm just not going to paint the base on this one. It's going to stay brown. So that you're going to have gray bases for the airborne, white bases for the Marines, brown bases for the mountain infantry, and yellow bases for the militia. So here's your regular infantry here. Now there's 20 of the Axis and Allies sculpts. You know them, you love them, you can't live without them, right? You've seen these a million times. And those have been painted too. Everything here was painted from the same can. So it's all the exact same color. That's kind of what you need to do to put together an entire global war army if you want it to match as well as this one does, right? Now, not just are you going to get those 20, but I also have 16 custom infantry. Every single one of them is different. There's no two custom infantry the same there. Each one is a unique pose. Anyway, so those guys, like you add those to those guys there. So there's 36 infantry altogether. Now here we have the artillery class. That's just the regular Axis and Allies artillery there. But then you got some 3D printed heavy artillery here. And there's 5 of those. That should be enough. Because you've also got these things down here. The Katyushas. Those are probably something you'll use more than heavy artillery, right? And you can see there's just a ton of them there, right? And in front of those, tank destroyers. Russian tank destroyers there. So that's something new from version 3, is tank destroyers. You got your anti-aircraft guns, and then again something new from version 3. That is the Allied self-propelled artillery. I didn't see any Russian self-propelled artillery anywhere, so I couldn't use those. So I just used the Allied ones there. Okay, so let's move over here. Now what do we got here? Okay, so up there, here, let me just grab one of these, okay? I want to show you the difference. Now, these are your motorized infantry. You can see that it's got tires on it, right? I didn't use the Axis and Allies one because the Axis and Allies one has tracks on it. So I'm using the historical board gaming one here. And that is going to make it easier for you to tell the difference between the mechanized infantry, which is this unit, and this unit has tracks on it. So a mechanized infantry has tracks, and a motorized infantry has rubber tires on it. And then over here, I think that this is a 3D printed unit. This is there's 5 of these. This is going to be your advanced mechanized infantry if you happen to develop that one. There's all the sculpts are here as well for the tech chart. Actually, except for advanced submarines, I didn't have a sculpt for advanced submarines, so you can just paint up a little, like what I do is just put a little red mark on the ends of them. That makes them, or you could put a chip underneath them, or you could find your own sculpt for advanced submarines. I know Doug is coming out with a bunch of units, and so maybe the advanced submarine will be in those units. Okay, so then we've got the, there's 16 of those motorized infantry, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 mechanized infantry. So that should probably be enough for the Russians. I think everything here is going to be enough for you. There's tons of tanks here. Like in the back row there, you can see the KV-2, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 KV-2s. There's 16 medium armor here. And they didn't have, like most of the Russian units that I bought off Historical Board Gaming were the off-colored ones. And that's the beauty of painting your units, is that you can put together an army really cheap, right? And it's the same army. Like it's exactly the same sculpt. It was just an off color. But if you're painting it, then what difference does it make, right? The only ones I couldn't were the airborne units and the cavalry and the mountain units. Like they didn't have any off color of those ones, right? But anyway, the small tanks here, the light tanks, they didn't have any Russian light tanks left. So these are the neutral light tanks. It doesn't matter whatsoever, though. I mean, a light tank is a light tank. You just need a sculpt to play the game, right? And you can see the difference in size, right? You can see that that's obviously a light tank and that's a medium tank. And that's, to me, that's the main thing. So let's take a look at the Air Force there. In the back there, that's your heavy bombers, those 5 up there. And then there's 2 strategic bombers there. You probably aren't going to need more than that. You'll find, if you haven't played this game before, the strategic bombers are not the same as they are that you've ever used them. Okay, the next row there is your medium bombers there. There's 5 of those. And then you've got your transport planes. And then you've got a bunch of tactical bombers. There's 10 of those. And then 10 fighters. And then 5 jet fighters. And then down here, in the Elite of the Soviet Union set, they give you a bunch of chips, and that's all they give you is a bunch of chips, and you put those chips under your units. And the one thing they don't give you is there's 2 chips there that are for the Night Witches. And what they are is PO2 bombers, and that's these here. These are 3D printed PO2 bombers. They tell you to go to Shapeways and get these if you want to use those chips, right? Well, you don't have to, because I'm giving you 2 with this set here. And then I showed you these already. This is the, I think it's BE4. It's a Russian one anyway. It's a pretty nice one. I think that it's the Catalina that Doug's going to put out in plastic for everybody in the different colors. But for these guys, you'll have Russian ones. And I can't see you buying more than 2 of them with the Russians. Like they're going to be more concentrated on what's going on the land. Think of Russian navies, you know what I mean? And how important they are. Not quite as much as the ground troops. And speaking of the Russian Navy, these units here are all 3D printed. And they're the same ones that I showed you earlier, the British ones, right? So you've got heavy battleship, that's the Vanguard, and you've got the Malta heavy carrier. Then you've got a couple of battle cruisers. And then there's 3 attack transports. Now, you're probably not going to develop attack transports for the Russians, but I'm going to throw them in because everybody's got that one friend, right? You know, just doesn't want to take anybody's advice. No, attack transport sounds really cool. I want those, you know? Anyway, so there's a couple battleships here, and those are the Axis and Allies battleships. There isn't a fast battleship for them, but, you know, like if you wanted to buy a fast battleship, then just put a chip under it or something, or you can make a mark on one of these ones, or you can buy another one if you want. But again, Russian navies, you know, like you're not going to have a lot, right? These ones here, these are your coastal ships, your coastal defense ships. I put 2 of those in, even though you don't get coastal defense ships in the opening setup for the Russians. The thing is, if you want to ever play the diplomacy expansion, and a lot of people are really digging that one, then Russia might take over. There's most of the coastal defense ships on the board in the opening setup are from neutral nations, and so you take over a neutral nation, you also get their navy. So I threw in a couple of those so that you can exchange the one in the neutral navy with a Russian one, right? And the same down here, like these are, you do need 5 coastal subs, but you didn't need 5 torpedo boat destroyers. But again, the neutral navies have them. And so if you play with diplomacy, then you should have enough units to play the game without ever having to supplement this, unless another unit enters the game, you know, next couple of years or something like that, right? So then we got, obviously we've got subs here, we've got escort carriers, they might come in handy. I think they're less, and actually the capital ships are going to cost less in this game than they did in version 2. So who knows, maybe Russia will invest in some fleet carriers or something like that. Then you've got your heavy carriers there, there's 3 of those, and you've got 3 light carriers. Then you've got 6 destroyers there, and 2, 4, 6, what is that, 7? 7 Baltic transports there. Again, you're not going to need a lot of them. You'll probably never use all of the ones that are there, right? But I'm giving you them all because, like I said, everybody's got that one friend that just thinks that the way to go is to take over the world with the Russian Navy. God bless their soul, right? Anyway, so love Christmas time. Love it even more when I have my presents all bought and almost wrapped. I got like 3 more presents to wrap, and then I'm done. And I'm all ready, and I hope you are too. But it's come to that time of year that I show my appreciation for all the people that watch my videos and support me in the community. This is just a hobby to me. I don't make any money doing this, and in fact, I don't lose money doing it. To me, it's money well spent. But putting together these prizes, like this one here, this prize Doug gave me. Doug, friend, gave me all of that stuff there to give away. And some of the stuff over here, he gave me like about half the 3D printed stuff here he gave to me. And most of the other stuff I bought, but at a discount price, right? And of course these things over here he gave me as well. So even though I do get some stuff for free from Doug to give away, I also still have to pay to mail it to people, including that Canada set. I had to mail to Italy twice because I got the address wrong on the first time, right? But anyway, I don't mind doing that, but it's just how much I appreciate people joining me here in the war room to play with my little army men with me. It wouldn't be the same without all of you people out there. Like I just wouldn't be nearly as interested in it. Like I probably would have lost interest in it by now because I've been interested in it in a number of years now. But it's making these videos that has reinvigorated my interest in the hobby, and given me a whole new hobby too. Like filming is a hobby, and putting it on YouTube and managing your channel, that's a hobby all in itself, right? And so that's given me endless joy, and I don't mind the money that I spend on here. Let's zoom that back out again. I don't mind the money that I spend on postage for you guys, and I'm really happy that people, when they get the prizes, like I talk to people messaging and sometimes over the phone and stuff like that, and they're just thrilled when they get prizes like this. And not everybody has the money to spend on the game that I do, and so it's a big deal to some people to get stuff like this, and I'm really happy to help them with that. And having said all that, thank you all very much, and I hope everybody has a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you on Sunday. Oh, one more thing I would like to mention. So this prize here, right? The people that have bought a game off Hilltop Pillbox will be entered to win this prize. They can also enter either this contest for Axis and Allies or this contest for Global War. The people that did not buy a game off Hilltop Pillbox can only enter Axis and Allies or Global War, okay? So just tell me in the comment section below, say I'd like to win, or don't say that, say Merry Christmas, General. And I'd like to win Axis and Allies, or you know, I'd like to win Global War. So just specify to me which one, and the people that won that prize over there, just specify which one. I'm getting your names from the Hilltop Pillbox, so you don't have to tell me in the comment section about that one. And also, one last thing, let's I'm not going to give the prize away to somebody that's already won a prize this year. Let's give somebody else a chance to win a prize just this calendar year. If you won one last year, that's fine, but just if you won a prize this calendar year, then you're welcome to wish everybody a Merry Christmas in the comment section, but please let somebody else win, and then next month when January comes around, then everybody goes back into the hat again. Let's just give the people a chance that haven't won anything yet. Show them what a thrill it is to win a prize from General Haggerty. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone. I'll talk to you on Sunday.